was organized in the factory model. We really wanted to do things rightly, so it was made into a machine, but also education and care and the local government itself. And we had brilliant ideas about making people happy by doing things for them. And all of us became objects. We were no subjects anymore. Whether you worked in the system or whether you benefited from the system, it didn't matter. You were a thing. And you all got the same. There was no context because of logistics, we were not able to bring the silos together. So you got what didn't fit into your lives. That's the reason that I became a total addict to design, because design helps you from the perspective of the end users to bring everything together what's important. And everybody has a different perspective, and so it also applies to things you do socially. In the end, design is positive, constructive. Yes, we have different opinions, but it doesn't matter because we are human beings, so we can relate to each other and see what we are actually to do together. And that's the most important political message of this day and age. You don't have to agree on everything. In the end, you have a cartoon of Robespierre during the French Revolution. He was beheading himself because everybody who had a different opinion was sick in the head, and so you had to cut the head off. No, it doesn't matter that you have a different opinion. Even better, it's wonderful to have different opinions, because we are cultural beings. We create our own worlds, we create our own thoughts. So being different is exactly what we are. But in being different, we still have to do things together, otherwise we won't be a society. So that's, for me, what design brings, together with solutions that you wouldn't think of if you were not a designer or an artist into fundamental design. You know, the people that always go beyond the border. Now, here the question is, will being a smart city help you in that? The answer is no. Not in the least. Because all the things that the smart city concept brought us are based on an economic concept from before the turning of the century, the neoliberal economic concept. And virtually that states there's no such thing as society, and all of us are not interested in the other people. We are only interested in ourselves as an individual and in making money. Well, that's rich. But all the companies that were created in those days and age have used it. So now you are nothing more, and really nothing more, than the pin slot machines of 5 Californian companies. You think that you have a rich life? Well, it's like being in the Matrix. You only think that you have a rich life. In the Matrix, you are creating energy for big machines. You are only creating money for 5 Californian companies. So, yes, of course, technology and digitization is a beautiful tool, but if you really, really want to use it as a human being, you might think twice about using it in the present form. So all the Ciscos in the world that come over and say, give us your city and we will make you happy. No, they won't. It's for us to decide how we want to use technology to create the society we want. So it's not about being a smart city. It's even not, sorry Guus, about being a smart society. It's about being the society you want to be. You really desperately want to be. And then using it as a tool and design as a tool. To give you an example, we did the procurement on smart lights. And what we gave at a consortium one, and for the next 15 years, they will make our public space digital, connected to our lamps, the lighting, because light is everywhere in the city, so they do it in one go. But what we stated before was, okay, you are not allowed to have a monopoly. It's based on open innovation, because solutions that work for us as a city should be able to be included. We won't even allow for a technology monopoly, because the same applies, so it has to be interoperable. The data should be owned publicly to take care of the local good or be your own. And the most important one, we have to be able to see what the algorithms do. Because if they manipulate it in a fashion that we don't agree on, they can't be used. So it's not that you can't sell them to other parties, it's just that we want to see what's in it in our... And what we are doing now is upscaling this type of thinking also within the European framework, so in the digital transformation part of the urban agenda. And what you feel is that the whole of Europe is really looking for, you saw the examples coming by, looking for a way to create a European alternative to that American system. Does that mean that the whole of Europe has to be the same? No, the technology should be interoperable, but you create localized solutions with design. And that's the beautiful part. Is that easy? Because in our procurement we stated also the process. In the end you have to do it with all the stakeholders. That's just one sentence, but it's very hard work. And that's the reason that because all of us are very happy to create new solutions, and you do it with the people that are willing to do it with you, but are you really creating an inclusive city? Are you really creating a commons? Because that is what we are going for. And the answer is, of course not. In the process, we are failing. The next time, we will fail better. Because we know that in the starting, you will have just some participants, and we asked the new institute, het nieuwe instituut voor Rotterdam, to participate because, and as how you call it, as a critical force. And we said to them, you are also responsible for the end result, because the things that we are doing are so important that you don't want bystanders into it. You want people that care. Everybody has to be a stakeholder, everybody has to be responsible, and that's the new way of organizing your, how do you call it, governance nowadays. Everybody is responsible, and in the doing you are being political and you are being democratic. And what they found, for example, is that the data we tend to use are not important in the lives of citizens. And so they talked about data deserts. And what we are going for now is human-driven data, the data that matter in the life. But what is even more important, you can see that more or less 9 groups will be will be part of your society. And in every process that we do and that we open up for participation, only 3 of them participate. And knowing enables you to change it. Will that be easy? No. But we know, and we are now striving for new ways to have people included, especially young people. Well, they do things in a different fashion, but it doesn't mean that they are not interested. It's their world. And they are creating wonderful things if they are allowed to do it. Actually, we now think that we will make everybody happy. Well, I said it to my own designer in our own organization. It's your task to make everybody happy, and she thought, oh wow. In the end, you do the best you can. But in the end, this is also an ongoing process. And sometimes things will happen and you thought, oh my God, did that happen? And then you try to make it better. As long as we try step by step to create our society together, we are doing the right thing. But it's a never-ending story. And what I find so inspiring in the presentations is that it's really what's underneath it. We really want to do the right thing. But you may ask yourself, we are now into a lot of participation. Is it possible to be participative the whole time in your life? And as I told by civil servants who are engaged in sustainability, I said, it's important to you, but the rest of us have different lives. So some of the things you also have to organize in a fashion that you can trust what's being done without being actually participating. If it's really your thing, you will participate, and if it's not really your thing, well, maybe you will be seeing if it's done in the right way, the process. And if you want to be a bystander in that part, that's also okay. To give you an example, in our supermarkets now you have a logo that shows you if the animals that you are going to eat, that are there in small parcels, so that they don't look like an animal anymore, also designed. If there are 3 stars, you know that the animal is treated well. Of course, you can always discuss how well, but it gives you an indication, so you can do your shopping, feel good about what you are actually doing without having to investigate the whole thing yourself. That's, for example, what we are doing in energy and things like that. To me, the challenge, I have to quote the challenge. The challenge is in public space, because I really believe that's the place where we foremost will reinvent being a society again, because that is the place where you are invited to be and invited to meet and invited to add your own things. And climate change is helping us because we have to do a lot, and a lot of green and water in cities, and also the mobility will change from fast mobility to slow mobility. So it's the place to be, but it's also the place to be together. And how do you take care that without being always involved in creating the parts, that it still allows you to feel that it's your place and that you are invited to do things, especially for young people who are always excluded from public space. And the second thing is, in the end, you don't only want to use things locally, you also want it to be upscaled. And that applies to technology and it applies to specific solutions. And for us, the technology, upscaling the technology is rather easy. But upscaling the design methodology to be fit different places is very interesting. So how are we able as a design community to help do things differently, but by using a methodology that's more or less applicable in different situations? To end with, if we really want to have a future, we have to cooperate on the scale of Europe. Europe is very interesting because it's so diverse. And within the European framework, you see that there are a lot of abilities in one place and that are compatible to abilities in different places. That's also a design problem. How can we really create a Europe that's not depending on charity, but in creating a common future together? I think those are 3 challenges. Well, you just want, you may choose which one.
Thank you. Please stay here for a second. Honestly, we did not give her any of that. That was all hers, but it's like, it felt like I was listening to like Robin Boyd 2.0, like she did a better job than we did. In fact, if you ever leave the city council, we would like to work with you.